We now move on to our Spotlight segment, and this is where we talk about the year 2021, some of the best phones that we had, especially in the flagship area, also in the mid range and below the mid range area. This is Phone Time. Austin, what would you think are some of the phones that were great phones for 2021, be it in the mid range, below mid range, or the flagship?
So in 2021, at least in India, if you go to see, we have at least a phone launching one or two launches in a week. I was just seeing a YouTube channel, one of the cited techs YouTube channel. They had 150 unboxings in a year of all Indian OEM phones. So there are so many devices launching in India. I think one of the phone is the Pixel, the six or the six Pro. Unfortunately, it didn't come to India, but it was a good phone. The Samsung lineup of the folds and flips was another good phone, and Oppo is already come with an Oppo Find N, which is like under 50,000 rupees in India, which is a foldable phone. So we are going to see a lot of foldable phones in the next year, in this year. So that's what I was going to say.
It's really interesting, you guys in India, I think you have more phones than anyone can shake a stick at. I'd always said, gosh, I wish I was in India or something like that, and I'll be able to. I don't know how many phones are going to be under my bed, but it's absolutely beautiful that you guys have all sorts of phones coming your way. And like you said, every week or thereabout, or maybe twice a week, there's this new phone appearing in India. We're not that fortunate here in the US. Basically, we don't have that blessedness of having, phones every week. We basically have maybe two or three manufacturers that we look forward to, and it's not on a constant basis like you guys have. And I do want to add that definitely when it comes to phones, I think that the kings of 2021 in the flagship area, I think, of course, the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra would be one of those that's taking the crown there alongside with the Google phone, the Pixel Pro, and the Pixel 6. These are absolutely most beautifully built phones that I've ever seen in quite a spell. So I am so excited to see that happening with Google, and I am excited about it because I got one that I returned because I wanted the 512 gig version, which I'm still pining for. And finally, I got my order in, and that thing, according to Google, may not be here till toward the end of this month. So whatever the case is, I'm waiting for my 512 gig version of the Pixel Pro, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's a beautifully crafted phone. Um, the only difference between that and the 6, though, is that the back doesn't have the Victus glass like the Pixel Pro has. And so that may be one of the differences. And then also the camera, where there's a triple camera on the back of the Pixel 6 Pro to the two that come on the regular Pixel. But the good thing is that they're both, using the same software. And that's what I like about Pixel phones. And unlike other years, though, this year, though, the Pixel 6 is not a little phone. I wish that Google had made them the same like they used to be and give us a smaller Pixel for those who prefer that. But this year, not quite so. So I like that. Another phone that I like to talk about is the Pixel 5a, and it's absolutely a beautiful phone. I have that phone, and it's currently my main driver. It's a wonderful phone for $449. If you can afford the Pixel 6, I should say get that phone because it's absolutely beautiful in every single way. Fee, what phones stand out to you for 2021, whether it's in the mid-range, below mid-range, or the flagship?
I'd say definitely the Samsungs and the Pixels.
Yeah.
I didn't buy it because I bought my new phone a couple of months, 2 or 3 months ago, and I didn't buy the very latest. I really like my Samsung Galaxy S20 FE, and the reason I didn't go for a 21, even the S21, even though it's newer, is because it annoyed me because there's no memory card slot. So I really like my S20 FE, and I think maybe the S21 Ultra has a memory card slot, possibly, but I can't. That's too much money. I think the
No,
other thing that was quite
they took the SD card out of the S21 Ultra.
in the Ultra as well.
Yeah, it was the
Oh,
Ultra 2020 that has the SD card slot.
okay. So in
Yeah.
2022, I want to see more phones that give you an SD slot again. I think another really interesting thing was there was a new Fairphone that came out. The trouble with the Fairphone is I think it's a fantastic idea, that the fact that you can replace various parts if they go wrong, or you need a new battery or something. Unfortunately, because it's quite a small company and they're not making in bulk and they don't have the money behind them that Google or Samsung have, for what you pay, you don't actually get that good a phone. But it's a real shame because I really like the sustainability of that, especially being able to replace the battery. I don't know why you can't do that with more phones. It's stupid. So what I'd like to see in my dream 2022 Android phone, Phonescape, is that a thing? It is now. I'd like to see phones where you can replace the battery if it starts to need, more charges more often and stuff. I'd like to see phones with a physical keyboard for people who want that. And I'd like to see phones over the biggest wish I have that might be more attainable is more phones with a memory card slot that are decent phones, not just like a cheap Nokia or something that you think, oh, that looks great, and then you try it out and go, it's really slow and annoying with talkback. I'd like to see Samsung bringing back their memory card slots. I don't know why they took those away. That was stupid. Because the cloud is only as good as your internet. So if your
Exactly.
internet's playing up, you're in a mess, Or like if I'm going on the underground and I'm reading an audiobook, I don't want to be streaming that, because every time I go in a tunnel or if I'm going through central London where it's all underground, that's no use really. So I do like to have my things on my phone or my memory card, and the memory card's a lot cheaper than buying a higher memory phone usually, isn't it? You can get, I think, a 256 gig card for what, 25, 26 pounds, something like that. I may not. I'm slightly.
Especially when it's on
I might
sale.
be making that up slightly.
No,
It's
no,
that
no.
kind
You're
of
not. You're
money.
not making it up. I mean, here in the U.S., on Amazon, you see those things for like $25 or whatever.
Yeah.
Especially when they're on sale. So,
But
and
but if you wanted a phone, say, with an extra 256 gig, you wouldn't pay that, would you? It'd be a lot more.
cheaper than going
A lot more. It'll be a lot
paying
more
the cloud.
expensive. Yeah, it'd be a lot more expensive for the phone if you wanted a phone with more storage on board. So we need the memory card slots. We need them back.
It's interesting you talk about that though, because it wasn't too long ago, I think maybe a couple of months or so ago, I don't remember exactly, we had like a cloud failure, where people couldn't access like the Amazon stuff. And Amazon is huge in the cloud business.
Yes,
And so
they
that
are.
goes to prove this idea that absolutely we need the SD card. And it's all about the money. The companies want to be able to have that monthly money flow,
Yep.
coming in from the subscription of the cloud and all of that, versus the one-time payment that you probably purchased an SD card and you're not coming back for quite a spell, maybe a couple of years, 3 years, or who knows. And so they're doing this because they want to have that cash flow. And do you blame them? We live in such a
Yes.
world that, everyone wants to make all that moolah that they can and become this $1 trillion, corporation and all of that. So I don't blame them. They know exactly what they're doing.
Thing is, it might not just be, I might be a bit paranoid possibly, but it might not just be the money. It might be, the kind of data harvesting going on there as well. So if
Absolutely,
you're putting
that's
your
part of
stuff
it.
on your memory card, no one's harvesting that because it's on your memory card. I mean, I guess if you've got an Android phone, there's going to be data harvesting anyway because Google runs Android. You kind of sign up for that if you get an Android phone. But
Yeah, although
do
we'll
you
say
want
though
to
that Google is.
give your data to other people as well? I don't really.
Yeah, I think that Google now is doing some privacy focused things of late, and let's give credit to where credit is due. In the past, it was free for the taking, so to speak, because especially, app developers, took advantage of that and abused the situation. But now Google is restricting all of that. And I'm thinking, though, that, come Android 13, we're actually even going to even have some more of that control. I like what I'm seeing with Android 12. So you couple that with what you have with a phone that has an SD card, and no file manager or no file or app could access that without you granting it that permission. I think it's a win-win situation for everybody. And, I'm a big, proponent of, bringing the SD card back. And I know some of my friends think I'm cuckoo for thinking so. But, I'm not sure that it's a good idea not to give people that option. Give people that option, at least like what Samsung was doing prior till now. Samsung, if you're hearing me, you need to make up your mind. All this, back and forth, like a girl and a boy. We fall apart, we come back, we fall apart. Come on, man, give me a break. I want to know we're either gone from each other or we're not gone from each other. But one moment we have the SD card, and the next moment we don't have the SD card. And then, we're just going to keep it in the mid-range phones or in the below mid-range phone segment. Come on. People with the flagship phones, I think they too want to be able to have access to an SD card. So bring that baby home, shall we?
Definitely. I agree with that. And also, if someone's not bothered about having an SD card, just don't have one. It's not very difficult.
But I don't think, unfortunately, phones will come with SD card slots, because there is a rumor that Apple is removing SIM card slots from iPhone 14 or 15. They are only going to make it an eSIM version. So whatever Apple does, everyone copies. So I think that SD card is gone forever, and we may lose the SIM card slot also next.
That annoys me. Why does everyone copy Apple? Like, as if, like, a lot of people get Android because it's not Apple. That's kind of the point. So,
And to be honest, though, I haven't been using a regular SIM card since 2018, when I started with the Pixel 3. And so I actually like the eSIM idea, but then it also comes in handy if one has a physical SIM card, because if I travel to another place, I still have my phone back home here with my Google Fi carrier, and then I could just dump in another SIM card from another country in there, and I have two SIM cards automatically. And I like that idea. But if we go to where we don't have a SIM slot at all, then what do you do with this idea of the dual SIM cards? And a lot of countries use that. I know that here in the US, it's seldom any of us uses dual SIM phones, but around the world, people use that. So I'm not sure how this is going to pan out with countries where people rely on multiple SIMs to get their businesses going.
Yeah, or
So
if you
Apple-
have, I know someone with someone living in France who has a French phone and an English phone. If you had a dual SIM, you could just have both the SIMs in the same phone, couldn't you? So that'd be handy. So if my phone breaks at the moment and I have to send it off or something, I've got another phone. I can just stick my SIM in it. If your phone breaks and you're using an eSIM, what do you do?
Yeah, well, here's how eSIM cards work. So let me use myself for example. Say my Pixel 6 gets here, and I set it up and I choose to activate my eSIM. And once I put in my account, it will say, we noticed that you already have this SIM on your Pixel 5a phone. Would you like to transfer that to this? And I say yes, and that's it. And my 5a becomes SIMless. You know what I mean? That's how it
So
works.
if you'd had it, say, in an Apple phone before, imagining, say, it's next year, how would you start the process? Because obviously it wouldn't say, we noticed this, because it's a different ecosystem.
No, it would do.
Is there a website you could go on or something? Or
because it's tied to your phone number. And so
I see.
your
Type
phone
in,
number,
it knows from the phone number.
So it knows that number has been activated on another phone, and would you like to move it to this other phone?
Okay.
And therefore you said yes, and it gets moved to this new phone, and the old phone becomes a SIMless dead phone. You can use the SIM card in that one. So
you can
that's
still
how
use it
works.
for wireless and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
not-
of course.
yeah,
You
but
use
not
it
the
for
SIM.
anything. I mean, you can put in a physical SIM in there if you want.
Mm.
Or if
Yeah.
if you have a sharing plan going on, you can activate it on both. But if not, you can choose to only have it on one. So I like the idea of the eSIM capability and all of that. But my concern is about people around the world that rely on dual SIM cards and all of that. And so if you take that away, unless, of course, if we have the capability of having two eSIM virtual SIMs, in the phone, then that will be great. But other than that, we better think this thing carefully, because Apple doesn't have, dual SIM cards. So if Android does that stupidity and follows Apple, they'll be going down the wrong path.